off my lawn!
Hi guys, Dan here from You So Silly Farmstead. You guys never see me in front of the camera. Excuse me. I'm always kind of behind the camera, which is generally where I need to be. But I just thought I'd show you what we got going on here. Trying to share more things with you guys. I know we've been MIA for a while with our videos and things like that. And I hope that you enjoy them. I really, really enjoy making them. So I hope that you enjoy watching what we create here. I realize, you know, we're not like some of the beautiful farmstead channels you see on YouTube. They do a great job. And trying to up our presence and share more with you guys. I want to invite you along into our lives and share things that we do with you. We have a lot of shenanigans, guys. You guys have all seen Brandy, the beautiful lady that I get to call my wife. And she does a great job in front of the camera. The camera loves her. But as you can imagine, we have a lot of shenanigans on our little 10-acre farmstead and lots of things coming in the future. So what we did, so on the back of our property, we have approximately 6.5 acres back behind our wood line back there. And so 10 acres total. And back there's lots of cedars. Well, cedars are actually, you know, let me phrase it this way. They're a tree that you love to hate. There are lots of uses for them, but they do suck a lot of water from the ground, a lot of moisture. I don't remember how many gallons per day an average cedar tree actually takes in, but it's a ton. And so they're not the best tree in the world. So we're slowly replacing some of the cedars on the back of our property with more useful for us trees, but there are great things we can do with them. And one of the things we're going to do with them is use the trunks for some foundations for some run-in sheds, or just kind of a shelter throughout the property for our different critters we have here. As you guys know, with the name You So Silly, we have some sheep, and we have some goats, and we have some chickens, and we have some ducks, and we have a cow. All right? Don't have a cow, man. Don't have a cow, man. Well, we have a cow. A cow. Not sure if she's going to be staying long term or not. Probably leaning towards not. We're going towards more medium to small animals here on the farmstead, is kind of where we're leaning. But just because they're easier for us to deal with. They're, you know, one thing about, you have to be honest with yourself. When you become a homesteader, or farmsteader as we call it, you know, there are things that you see other people do and you think, man, I could do that too. But at some point you got to be honest. You got to figure out what your groove is, what works good for you, what works good for your family. And large animals don't really fit in well with our lifestyle and our family. We have a special needs 10-year-old, almost 11-year-old son, and we have these nightmares of, you know, going out in the barn lot, and you know, hey, one of the larger animals comes trucking through, and you know, you try to get him to stop or get out of the way, and you can't do it. So anyway, long story short, we just don't think large animals work for us, but they might work for you. So we're going to build these run-in sheds. We call them run-in sheds, just places for them to find shelter, shade, that type of thing, throughout the property. I don't know how many, I haven't figured it out yet, but we are gathering the things we need. So had the 16-year-old here last week, put him to work. He went on the top 6, we call it, on top of the hill, and he gathered some of the trees we'd already had pre-cut down. And let me show you. Yeah, here you go. So this is the logs and whatnot that we have them up there. I'm guessing somewhere around 10 to 12 feet long. You know, obviously with it being a cedar tree, it gets pretty narrow at the top. So probably not super useful at the very top, but I think these will work great for a run-in shed to keep our animals out of the sun and out of the moisture if they're just out, you know, and just need a place to sit down or you know, catch a break from the wind or rain. So that's one of the things we're doing right now. I have this large collection of cedar trunks in my yard here, and that's what we're doing. I think I'm going to end up quickcreting them in the ground. Probably, I don't know that I really want to. That's a pretty good sized bottom there. I'm probably gonna notch some of that off so I don't have to put all that in the ground. But anyway, one of the projects here at Woah Silly Farmstead. I'm gonna give you a little tour here of our place. So please come with me as we walk around. So this is what we call Garden 2. Now you guys have seen different videos of this particular garden, but this is Garden 2. Garden 1 is back the other way behind the house. And we'll take a walk there in just a minute. All right, but we've got primarily, let's just go ahead and go on over here and say hello to all of our plants. Oh, by the way, please be careful, don't touch that. It is an electrified fence there with 8,000 volts going through it to keep out the chickens and other critters. So please watch your step and please don't touch that. All right, thank you for your cooperation. Okay, so took a walk this morning. The bees are active. So this is primarily a pumpkin patch right here. Pumpkins, all that big massive mess. Yeah, we are the messy. We should have been the messy farmstead because we really are the messy farmstead. Trying to get this all looking perfect is a task. You know, hey, give us 20 years, we'll have it down to a science, right? Oh, got some watermelons. And this is all going to be watered this evening. So the bees do not like, they can't fly in the rain. They don't want to fly in the rain. So, or moisture. I had been watering these in the mornings. I'm going to start watering them in the evenings. So if I don't water them in the mornings, that gives the bees a chance to get in there and do their thing. All right. On the back, we'll take a walk. There's corn back there, some sweet corn. This is being prepped for a new project. We got a lot of useful space right here that's just not being used. And I'm going to take it, or we're going to take advantage of that. Yeah, this is our little rabbit hutch, rabbit area that kind of failed. They escaped. The male is gone. We don't know where he went, but the female stays on the property. So that was kind of a project that went awry on us, as we have that from time to time. But I think we're going to keep that there and get some more rabbits and go ahead and raise them. They're great for fertilizer, their poo. So we're going to continue to do that. But around this is all going to be garden. And as you can see, we're working on it. Takes a lot of work and effort, guys. If any of you have ever had a farmstead or ever had a homestead or were raised on a farm, you know what hard work trying to keep all this stuff up and make it look pretty is. And of course, I'm not retired, so you know, this is not all I do, and this is not all Brandy does. So it does provide some challenges to keep everything looking nice. But we're trying, and we're trying to figure out ideas to make it look nicer. You know, we couldn't afford thousands upon thousands of dollars to haul in stuff in here, so it kind of got a little carried away. But I think if you've ever heard of a chaos garden, I think we're going to go ahead and make this into a semi-chaos garden for at least part of it. I've got another video I'm going to do on what we're doing with that. That will be forthcoming, and you're going to want to tune in for that, because that project may affect more than just this family. So please stay tuned for that. While we're on our way to our corn, this will be the next stop, the squash, zucchinis and squash. All right, they look a little frazzled right here at the moment just because I haven't watered them yet today, but they'll perk right up later. They tend to do that. Oh, and by the way, I've got some watermelon growing over here. I don't think you can see it, but it's starting to really take off. And trying to keep the grass mowed down, because that was a big epic fail. And we're going to figure out something different for next year. But anyway, long story short is I think it's going to work for this year. So it's just going to have to do its thing. And you know, it's like going flying in an airplane. Once you're off the ground, you have to kind of roll with it and deal with it while you're flying. So we're off of the ground and we're flying right now in this garden. So we're having to deal with any mistakes we've made, any bad decisions we made, or just lack of knowledge on the fly. So we're doing that right now. Brandy's in the process of making some compost tea. I'll probably try to do a video on that because she knows more about that than I do. To be quite honest with you, well, there goes a butterfly. I don't know if you can see that or not. But anyway, to be honest with you, she is very much the knowledgeable one on this stuff, even though I was raised around a farm and my grandparents had a farm and I was there a lot. I didn't pay as much attention as I should have and wished I would have. Now, and they did a great job farming and gardening. But I enjoyed the fruits of their labor, but I just did not pay enough attention. So let's walk around here. I got this one zucchini plant. Now, you talk about companion gardening, and how they feed off each other and help each other out. The corn, you know, look at this squash, and it's right next door to its friend, the corn. All right, and then as we go down this way, they kind of get a little stragglier. That's my word, by the way. I coined that term, so please don't steal that from me. But it looks a little stragglier as we go along there towards that direction. So yeah, I think there's something to it. You know, I think there's something to that. And I did till that, by the way, over there yesterday. Worked on it also this morning. So like I said, probably another video on that particular project. My corn looks good. It's just not as thick in areas as I'd like it to be. I'm not exactly sure what happened. Like I said, I think we need to get some nitrogen in here. We're going to do a compost tea and see if we can't perk up some of these. They need water. They'll be good once I water them tonight. But as you can see, they're starting to tassel out. Let's see if you can take a good look there. See the tassels? See the tassel down in there? It's looking good. It's looking good. So some of them look better than others, I will admit. Some of that stuff in the front over there is actually silking out. Has stalks starting to grow. So don't know, you know, I'm learning to be a farmer, guys. But you know, my profession is aviation, and that's what I've studied for a long time, and so this is something new for me. You know, I think a lot of this comes from the fact that everybody knows, I think everybody has in the back of their mind, that some hard times are probably on our way, and we need to be prepared. So we're trying to prepare. Even if some things are an epic fail, at least we're trying. And we're trying to learn as we go along and not make the same mistakes. Corn on this side looks a little better in the front over there, and in the back looks pretty bad. I probably didn't get it watered as well as I should have. What do you think? Maybe, I don't know, maybe it got shaded. So that is south, so I'm thinking maybe, I don't know, maybe you guys can comment why this back row didn't seem to grow nearly as much as the front row. Probably, I'm thinking maybe shaded. I don't know, maybe didn't get enough water when I was watering it, didn't get enough in the corners. I don't know. You guys can comment and tell me. I'm sure you'll know exactly what I did wrong. But we've got some wind damage here. We get some pretty crazy winds here in Oklahoma from time to time, as you know, as you can imagine. So being twister country, we get some wind. So we do have that. Would love to know your guys' tips. You know, I feel like it's important that Brandy and I share our successes and failures. So we probably do have a lot more failures. Well, I don't want to say that. I don't want to say we have more failures and successes, because we don't. We just have our share of each. Let's put it that way. So that's what I'll say about that. But I would love to know what your comments are on why this back row looks so straggly and the front row looks so much better, especially on this side. So anyway, we're coming around here. As you can see, it is a chaos garden with the pumpkin patch. We need to get in here and do some hand weeding and thin this out. In fact, I'll probably work on this either tomorrow morning or even this evening. Depends on what time I get this evening to do that. But I'll be down on my hands and knees out here in the garden just trying to thin out some of this, because I really can't mow it down at this point, because it's starting to get too big. And it does look a little, looks a little straggly here in the heat of the day. But once I water it, it will look better. I promise you, everything opens up and it looks good. I've got a couple plants here on the edges that did not fare so well. I don't know if I can save them or not, but we'll see. Some of these edge plants don't look as good as the ones in the center for sure. So anyway, that's our garden 2, which is primarily a pumpkin patch, squash. There's a few bush beans in there, and corn. And as I look at the corn from the distance here, you know, definitely areas that look better than others, and we'll figure out what we did. I wrong, hopefully. And I think, like I said, maybe that compost tea with extra nitrogen going in there will give it a boost soon. We need to get that going. So thank you for joining me on this tour of Garden 2. We're going to walk around to Garden 1. I'm embarrassed to show you that one. All right, welcome to the backyard where all the fun happens. And welcome to Garden 1, also known as My Nightmare. Welcome to my nightmare. You know the song, Alice Cooper. So really about the only things that survived our planting in this particular crazy jungle of a garden is I've got tomato plants there that Brandy planted. I've got a little potato bed over here behind. I'm pretty proud to say I've got about 6 or 8 asparagus plants that are growing well. We've got blackberry bushes over here, and I'm using the goats right now who are over there to try to mow this mess down. Oh, and I've got grapes over there. Let's just go ahead and take a walk. So we've had a lot of destruction here with our tomatoes. It's a sad day. We had a mole. Our little dog that was our little mole dog got killed in a car event, as you can imagine. Couldn't get that dog to stop chasing cars. But anyway, that was our little mole dog. And there were a few of my plants here that the mole absolutely destroyed the root systems on it. And long story short, we lost a couple plants. This one here, got to do some work on it, but as you can see, there are some starting to come on here and turn red. We've also got a larger plant here behind. It's got some larger, hopefully you can see that down there, some larger tomatoes growing on it, and it's doing pretty well. I probably need to prune it back a bit. Yeah, but I lost about 2, maybe 3 plants there from the stupid mole. So I do have my mole trap. We won't talk about that because it's not a nice trap. And I don't want YouTube to get after me. But anyway, yes. And by the way, this was all tilled several times this year before the season started. So it's insane. This is our potato bed that I've been able to actually kind of salvage. I had a bunch of accidental watermelon plants growing that were accidentals because we planted them last year and we had some watermelons, but obviously we had some seeds that made their way in and have about 4 or 5 watermelon plants through here that I'm pretty excited about. Trying to keep it watered and trying to keep the grass away from it the best I can. Here's one right here. Take a look at that bad boy. So I know it's hard to see with all the grass. We're trying, man. I'm telling you, I wish you guys could understand how much work it really is if you've never done it before. If you have done it before and you do it well, my hat's off to you, ladies and gentlemen, because you do a great job. It's just hard to keep these places looking nice and the plants all. I know to put down the weed barrier. I made a really big mistake thinking it was like my grandparents' place up in Indiana where they didn't have to do that. They tilled it, and but they'd been prepping theirs for about 20 years. I haven't been. So they would plow it up every year with my grandpa's tractor and do that as often, I guess. And at some point, by the time I was around, yeah, it was beautiful, and they didn't have to do anything except a few weeds here and there. Well, I did not expect the grass to come back like this. I was mistaken. I confess I made a huge mistake. But we're trying to salvage what we can in here. I'm going to be prepping some of this very, very soon for another project that is a... I'll be prepping this very, very soon for another project that is going to be a little chaotic, but that's the point. And that might be the way we have to garden in our future, is something that's supposed to be crazy. So the bees are over there, by the way, sitting there behaving. Ah ha ha, did you see what I did there? So this will be all prepped and plowed down again for our next project. Also, by the way, mint, guys, another one that was left over from last year. I think I'll have some of that. My breath is bad. I think I'll have a taste of that right now. There you go. Put some of that in your water. So all this is going to come down. It was an epic fail. Salvage what we can with the water, with the, excuse me, salvage what we can with the tomato plants. We're going to plant some more tomato plants because we need tomato plants. And then I've got another project that we'll be telling you guys all about in the near future. Pretty excited about that one. Let's walk over here and take a look at our little friends, shall we? Blackberry bush. This one's not doing quite as well. I need to do some weeding on that. This one's doing very, very well. Need to do some weeding on it as well. We have some mullein plants over here hidden. Have some mullein plants, which are very good for your lungs, by the way. And dun, da, 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 a goji berry bush, which was doing well. I need to get some more water to it. It's just I did not, and I'm paying the price now. And here are my weed trimmers. I don't want to say lawnmowers because they really don't like grass. Hi, guys. Hi, little girl. We've had them a couple weeks now, maybe 3 weeks. Getting used to us. Getting a little shade here. We got some drop cloths up there hanging for some shade for them in the heat of the day while we move them around to let them mow down some of these weeds. I'm going to do the same thing soon down in our bottom land where our creek bottom is and get them to clear up some of that brush. Nubians. 4 females and a male. A sibling male, so we won't be using him for mating, but we are going to be getting another Billy that we'll use for mating purposes, and then he'll have a friend, and we'll probably keep them separate from the girls soon. But they're cute. I personally like the goats better than I do the sheep. I don't think it's that way with Brandy, but that's just me. That's my personal thing. Oh, and by the way, if you guys see Brandy, tell her I want a donkey. It's a donkey! Donkey! Oh, you're so pretty. This one is Frosty. She's my favorite. I love the white streaks on her face. She reminds me of a vanilla Frosty from Wendy's. And we have Firefly. Let's see, what else we got going on over here? I don't remember their names nearly. That's Baby Girl. The tiny one's Baby Girl. That's actually her name. It smells like goats over here. It smells like goats. So anyway, that's just a little bit of what we got going on over here at the You So Silly Farmstead. I really appreciate you joining me today. And thank you for walking with me through my chaotic garden. Garden 1. Our nightmare. You guys all have a great time. Please consider subscribing to our channel, commenting, liking or disliking the video. I'd really prefer it if you'd like it, but I'm not going to tell you what to do there. But if you are an active gardener, homesteader, extraordinaire, and you've got some suggestions for us, hey, would love to hear them. Thank you for joining me for a tour of our farmstead and our crazy chaos garden jungle mistake whatever you want to call it. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. Please consider subscribing, hitting the notifications, and liking the video. And please comment in the comments section down below. We appreciate it with your suggestions. I know it's crazy, but we sure would appreciate all the ideas we can with some suggestions for weed control. Take care. We'll see you later. Goodbye from the shadow.